Hi everyone, and welcome to Wine Geometry. This is Sylvan speaking. I'm here to present to you today with a business opportunity of wine investing. Let's look a little bit more in details. You can see here that the traditional investments, such as banks, real estate, or stock markets, have problems today giving us users the proper returns that we want. Banking products no longer have any attractiveness because of low profitability. For example, if you put your money in the bank, you can only expect a few percent of return, which is barely covering the inflation mark for your country. Also, the problem you have with keeping your money in the bank is that it's just sitting there instead of working, circulating, flowing. So that's what we call money retaining versus money flowing. You want to get your money to circulate more, to have more profit, to have more return on your money. The problem with banks is that you're leaving your money into accounts which usually they want to keep for a few years so that they can try to make a profit on it while giving you less than nothing. On real estate, I know that from personal experience, it's not an easy thing to do. Even though I did manage to sell 2 apartments and a house of my own, I feel that it's still very difficult and risky to work in real estate. You have problems such as tenancy void, which means if one day you have someone coming in your apartment to rent, and then on the next day he needs to leave for whatever reason, then you have a void, which means you have a few months, maybe years, who knows, of void, meaning that you do not get paid your rent, and yet you still have to pay back your loan to the bank. So there's a risk there. There are also laws that are protecting tenants in some countries. In France, for example, there's what we call la trêve hivernale, which means that during the winter, you're not allowed to kick out your tenant even if he doesn't pay his rent. Also, tax is dramatically increasing in some countries. Tax on your real estate as a landlord and tax on the inhabitant that is occupying the premises. And that makes it more and more difficult to today be an investor in real estate. I'm not saying you should not be an investor. I'm saying it should only be a certain percentage of your portfolio. Real estate is also oversaturated today because of Airbnb, and we see a reduced interest after this current situation with the coronavirus, which is attacking more and more the market, and real estate is one of the first markets that it's been touching. Next, the stock markets are also affected, obviously. Stock markets are affected by external factors, such as the coronavirus or other decisions that are out of our control, and you need to have constant immersion in the subject if you want to be able to make some profit. Usually, you need to be a specialist, someone that has an insight into or inside information to be able to make a buck. So there's high volatility, and when I mean stock markets and Bitcoins, it's the same. It's even worse. You can make a great money, but your fall can be great as well. And I have a hedge fund in cryptocurrencies, which tends to prove that yes, we can get high profits, but we can also get high losses depending on the coins or depends on the shares that we choose to buy. So why invest in wine? I think here the consequence is quite logical. First of all, for transparent profitability, I think wine is one of the most profitable and regular assets in today's life. It's actually grown more historically than gold. So it's something that people are coming to terms with. It's no hazard, is no chance if the two assets that rich people buy are art and wine. So I'm not going to talk to you about art because I don't know a thing about art, or at least I don't know how to buy art. However, wine is something I do know about. Being a certified WSET 3, so Wines and Spirits Education Trust level 3, being some kind of a sommelier and being an expert in wine, since I do spend all of my time reading about wine, drinking wine, tasting wine. So that is something I can talk about. And I can tell you that not only is it enjoyable, but it's profitable. So the first thing is that there's a limited amount of bottles, right? Depending on the weather, depending on the climate of that year, and depending on the producer, there's only a certain amount of bottles that the person is going to produce every year, which means the more people drink those bottles, the fewer there are left, and the obvious logic of demand, supply and demand works, which means the fewer bottles are available, then the more people want it, and obviously the price goes up. So there's a strong regular demand in wine. That's also something you have to understand. People maybe drink less than they used to. So we used to drink more in our grandparents' generation, and now we drink less. However, we drink more quality. And that's something important in our business, in wine investing, which means that people tend to understand more what they're drinking, and therefore they want to spend a little bit more money on quality drinks. They also are looking into new ways of making wine. I think with the organic, sustainable, and biodynamic farming types, there is a more realistic relationship to earth, to nature, and to sustainable development. And people are ready to pay a higher price for that. And in terms, I think that the wines are really better when they are made in this kind of responsible manner. Next, and this is also very important in our profitability chapter, it's tax-free. So wine is tax-free. Let me explain myself. Profit on wine is tax-free. So if today you buy a bottle 100 and you sell it at 200, you make 100 profit, and that 100 profit is in your pocket. And this is very important. If you make a profit in real estate, then you have to pay a percentage of that profit. If you make a profit in the stock or something else, you get taxed because that's part of your income. Here, it's considered as disposable waste, as something that usually is drunk and forgotten about. So there is no tax on the profit of wine. Okay, so that's a very strong point in favor of what we're doing here, because if you make a 10% profit, then that's a 10% profit. There is no cut on that, on your income or whatever tax. The next thing of why we invest in wine is for the experience, of course. I don't think you should invest in wine if you don't enjoy wine. I'm actually sure that you have to enjoy the experience, the value of having friends and family around you, having other connoisseurs around you who want to share a glass with you, who want to develop their knowledge. And I think that is the warmth of the wine industry. And that's what's really interesting here. So we have to combine business with pleasure. And that's a great thing. So that means that on the one hand, you're investing in wine by buying bottles, and on the other hand, you can drink some of those bottles at any time you want. Okay, so you can pick out those bottles, and that's really interesting. You can also gain a unique and deep knowledge on a luxury product. Okay, so this is very important also. You can, through this investment, you can understand more about wine, about its art, about the science of it actually, because our name is Wine Geometry, because we believe that wine is a science. And so we'll be very happy to tell you more about this science and give you more knowledge so that you in turn can raise your status in the eyes of your colleagues, your partners, and your friends. The more you climb the social ladder, the more you're going to need to know and to be able to talk about these subjects. There is no better way of making a friend or of getting respect out of a partner or a boss than sharing or offering a good bottle of wine and knowing what you're talking about. So about profitability. The average annual growth since 1952 is 14% in average. So this is huge to say. It means that, roughly speaking, the market of wine has always been going up 14% per annum in the last 60 to 70 years. So that's an incredible statement to put out there. And it's been proved through numbers that this investment is 4 times more profitable than if you had a house and you had kept the investment in real estate for the last period, for the same period. So it is a stable investment. You're not going to expect huge returns of doubling your money in 1 year, of course, but it's a stable investment. And if the wines are stored in the proper conditions, the proper way, at the proper temperature, at the proper humidity, in the dark, and they're kept safe, there's no reason that you should not be making this 14% growth per annum as well. I want to attract your attention on the few names that we've put out here. I've chosen a selection of wines that have been sold on auction in the last 10 years. We have a database of thousands of transactions of wine in the last 10 years, and we've seen a few trends, and that's what I wanted to show in this list here. You can see that the most famous names, such as Chateau Margaux or Petrus, these kind of names, are actually the less profitable, and some, like Margaux, even lost interest or lost profit at sale. And the ones that are most profitable are the ones that maybe a few years ago were not that interesting or were not that famous. And so here's where I want to attract your attention. Our job at Wine Geometry is to make sure that you're going to have more of those kind of bottles, which are maybe not the most famous bottles, unless of course that's what you choose to have, but wines that are up and coming and wines that are interesting from a sommelier perspective and also from a profitability perspective. So we constantly read magazines, and especially French magazines, because we'll be focusing primarily on French wines. Okay, this is important. We'll be focusing on French wines, because we are in France, and we're reading all these magazines in French, and before they're translated to the public, we get information about it, and we're able to contact those wineries and get allocations, okay? That's the next big thing I'm talking about, the allocations. We will be able to get allocations, which is a specific number of bottles per winery, which you as an end user could not get, okay? There's a lot of very good wines out there that you've never heard of just because you've never seen them on the shelves of a wine store because they don't have enough bottles to sell. As soon as they're produced, they are sold. Or rather, should I say, before they even produce the wine, before they even bottle it, there's already a list of people waiting. And they want to keep that treasure with them. So our job at Wine Geometry is to get you those bottles. So Wine Geometry is your wine club, wine broker, okay? We're right in the middle of the wine club and the wine broker. That's important to understand. We're not only a wine broker, we're not only a wine club, we're both. So what are the benefits? First of all, you invest in your knowledge. So as I said, wine is a science that can be comprehended, that you can understand with time, and I and the team will be very happy to constantly guide you, accompany you in learning about wine, learning about every bottle that you'll be buying and every bottle that you'll be drinking, of course. We'll give you tasting tips, we'll give you tasting notes, and we will give you very specific information, bottle per bottle, on when to buy, when to sell, and when to drink if that's your wish. Another benefit is an access to rare and exclusive wine allocations. So that I just mentioned that previously. So again, in a normal conditions, you're not able to get most of these wines. So we're going to get wines that are upscale, or my personal preferences, or the other somebody's preferences. We're going to get them because we know the information in advance. We know when we can press the button to buy, and we are able, with a bigger group, to be more powerful and to purchase bottles when others could not, obviously. Next, the benefits of our wine club / broker is to have a service provider to be able to buy, stock, and sell bottles for you. So here, if you want to invest in wine one day, the problem you're going to be faced with is, where do you stock it? Okay, so you're going to have your wine storage, and you probably already do, of 12, 24, or 48 bottles, okay, a kind of wine fridge, I guess, where you keep your bottles. Or in the best case, you have a big house and you're able to store some bottles there. But are you sure you have the proper conditions? Are you sure that your temperature is 13 degrees Celsius? that your humidity is the proper level? Are you sure that it's perfectly in the dark, that it doesn't change too much? Okay, so these are guarantees that we're providing for you as well, with time, because that's our endeavor here. We're going in the long run. Our endeavor is to go for 10, 20, 25, 30 years if we have to keep these bottles. And if we keep these bottles for 30 years, there's going to be one problem. Keeping them in a cave for 30 years deteriorates the label. The label is going to be torn because of humidity, right? So we're also going to wrap them in a plastic film to be able to keep this this label perfectly clean. And that, in turn, gives a huge value on the resale. Okay, so the moment you sell, if the label is still in perfect shape, then that is a 20% premium, and that has been proven on your sale. If, however, you have a great bottle, but your label is completely torn apart, then you're going to have to take a hit on your sale. We also know when to sell for you, so that's also important. And it's just simple knowledge, but when you're buying a bottle and you're keeping it in your fridge, you usually don't really know until when you can keep it, so that we tell you. And obviously, if it's in your fridge next to you, at some point you just pop it out and drink it. So here you have a proper storage place. Someone's going to take care of it. Someone's going to be sure that your treasure, let's say, is in the proper place, and that someone's having an eye on it at all times. Next, we can provide regular door-to-door supply of exclusive wines for your table. Okay, so this is for the gold members, okay, who have this privilege, and I'll come to the memberships later. We do provide also regular supply of bottles, of cases of bottles, to your doorstep, of course for additional price of logistics, but that's also a service that we provide. Another option, another privilege that we can give are private wine tasting events. So obviously the first year it's going to be in France. We're going to arrange a wine tasting event with a chef who's going to cook food to pair with the wines that we have, and it's for members only. You can also bring plus ones, who for them it's going to be more expensive to enter to these wine events. The gold members will also benefit from trips to the French vineyards. So we will accompany them through tours where they will be seeing beautiful wineries, and if they wish, they can be able to stay in beautiful castles. Finally, we offer a flexible referral program. The referral program is easy. If you are a member and you bring a friend who joins the club, you then gain one bottle of somebody's preferred wine. Okay, so that's important. That's to say that you just told a friend, hey, join the club, and you get a bottle that's really worth something. What are the risks of investing in the wine that we cover? When you sell is a difficult thing to know, right? So you never know when to sell, when to drink, and so our experience here is vital for you, because we're going to tell you our tasting notes and our drinking period. We'll be having sheets, okay, data sheets, technical sheets on the types of wine that you have in your cellar, the types of wines that you will buy and that you might drink, and we'll be telling you when to drink, when to sell, okay? So we'll be giving you all these detailed information. We also provide selling channels, because that's also a risk of investing. You invest, but who are you going to sell it to, right? So we can work with auctions, we can work with P2P, and we have a catalog of all transactions. So we know when to press the button to sell, because we know the price you bought, we know the current trends of transactions, because we're following all the different transactions of wines around the world, wine prices that restaurants, hotels, wine bars, auctions are buying, private collectors are buying. We know these prices because we're following them around the world, and we know when to tell you to sell. A risk is also the theft or damage or transportation, right? When you transport wine, the wine can have a trouble if it's not stored properly, if it's not transported properly, and so on. Also, there's also a risk of theft or damage, which you don't have with a stock, for example, right? If you have a stock, Well, it's something digital, so in any case, you'll get your money at the end of the day. Here, if your wine breaks or is stolen by someone, then you have a risk of not having that bottle anymore, right? So here, which is very important, is insurance. So our stock has insurance based on the total value of the wines you're going to get. So that's also a serious guarantee that we're offering in this program. So as a conclusion, these are not wine futures nor wine options, okay? These are not bonds that you get on a piece of paper and that you invest in and that you might get a profit out of and you can never touch. These are actually bottles that you own and you have physically present. You can see them. We can have webcam conferences and you can see your bottles, you can see your treasure, and you can drink them anytime you wish. So we have 3 membership plans, and here we enter more in the membership part of the deal. So what happens is you talk to us, you subscribe to a membership, and thanks to that membership, you can start investing in wines. So there are 3 levels: bronze, silver, and gold. Let's run through them. Bronze, the membership fee is 500 euros per year. So you invest yearly from 500 euros to roughly 2,000 euros. And we take care of your purchasing, your stock, your sale if you wish to sell. We offer you a free bottle of Sam's preferred wines every year, en primeur. En primeur, it means that it's just at production. So we get allocations again from specific wineries, very special wineries, and we're going to guarantee that we can offer you 1 free bottle of a special wine every single year. You also get a ticket to participate to our tasting events. And on the silver membership plan, which costs 1,200 euros per year, here you will invest from 2,000 to 4,000 euros yearly. And here we will take care of course, your purchasing and your stock and your sale. And here you will be given allocations of bottles that you might not get at bronze level. Okay? Here, not only will you participate in our tasting events, but you'll also get a half case of upscale wines every year. So there are 3 types of bottles that we will be buying. Number 1, the big names. The big names, so it's those bottles that I mentioned earlier, the Chateau Margaux, the Petrus, and so on. The bottles that cost more than 300 euros, that are very expensive and not very profitable. Okay, that's one of the possibilities in our portfolio. The second level of bottle is the upscale wineries. The upscale wineries are wines coming from a specific winemaker that has a special touch and that has been recognized in recent years for what he's been doing, either in the vineyard or in the winery. He does something special that differentiates him from the rest of his peers, and that's why his wine is worth that much more. So we'll be giving you a half case of that kind of wine every year. In the gold membership, which costs 2,500 euros a year, here you'll be investing from 4,000 euros onwards to 10,000 euros. We handle, of course, your stock, your purchasing, your sale, and we give you the allocations in priority. So whatever you want, we give you in priority those wines. We will give you 1 free case of upscale wines every single year. So again, wines that you could not find, wines that we found on allocation from very, very high-end winemakers, we will be providing you a free case per year. You will participate in tasting events, and we offer a trip to vineyards in France. So you can see that there is a scaled offer here from bronze, silver to gold, according to the benefits you get, and of course, according to the investment that you're ready to put in wines. If you're not sure yet how much you want to put in, then schedule a session with me or with someone from the team, and we'll be happy to run you through your investment portfolio currently, how much you've been putting in other types of investments, in real estate and stock and other things. And then that will clear your mind and you'll be able to be set on which membership plan you want. So what are the next steps? You're going to fill out a form that we're going to send you, and this form is important because it gives us actually the details on what you like, what you don't like in wine, because it's a pleasure. Again, it's not only investment, it's also about what you like and what you dislike. Which kind of investment you want, which type of investor you are, and so on. So this is really important to get us started and to have a first call with you. That's the next step. Your personal account manager is going to contact you with this form, and we're going to discuss it together, and we're going to set you on a package, and we're going to set you on a type of bottles that you would like to buy. So that's the next step. We agree on a membership plan. We select the wines together. We sign the contract and complete the trade. And after that, you get access to your stock. So we buy the wines, show you the stock. You have personal access to your wines through video, through webcam, and you can see the temperature conditions, the storing conditions. You can see that everything's perfect. You can see it anytime you want. And then you contact your personal account manager anytime that you want to sell or buy more stock. So our fees work as such. First, there's a membership fee. That's a yearly fee according to your package, okay, minus our operational cost of stock, cost of insurance, cost of handling, cost of purchasing. There's a lot of cost involved here, so you get great value out of that membership. And we take another cut on your profit, okay, and this is important. That's to say that every time you make a sale, if you bought a bottle at 100 and you sell at 200, you make 100 profit, right? And so we take 10% on that profit. So we'll take 10 out of that 100 that you made of profit. And that's important because most companies doing this, they will take a 10 or 15% actually cut on the total value of the sale. So no matter how much you bought it, if you sold it 200, they're going to take 10 or 15% out of 200. So they're going to take 20 or 30 instead of taking 10 as we do. So that's really important to understand. A question that I get a lot is, I invest this year in, so someone invests this year in our fund, in our wine club / brokerage, and I wish to quit next year. So I don't want to be a member again next year. How does it work? Because maybe this year you were interested in investing a lot, and next year you just want to keep it on stock, but you don't want to be an active member, you don't want to participate in events, you don't want to have the benefits of getting new bottles offered to your doorstep, and so on. So in that case, you can keep your existing stock, you don't pay the membership fee, and you benefit from a preferred cost of stock because you were previously a member. So that cost is 20 euro cents per month per bottle. Okay, so that's important. The market average is 30 cents onwards for just the handling of keeping the stock, and we're at 20 cents. And second, of course, if you wish to exit in full, you can exit all of it at once or in several steps if you wish. There's no problem with that. We're going to find the buyers that you need to take all of your stock out. So I've put an example underneath here, our price of handling stock versus the market price. So if I have 60 bottles, for example, then the 60 bottles is going to cost me 20 cents per bottle times 60 times the number of months, which is 12 in a year, which is going to cost us 144 euros, right? So you as a client who have decided to quit next year your cost is going to be 144 euros to keep all of your stock safe, okay? Whereas the market price, if you have 60 bottles, with the account creation, the handling, the entrance and exit from stock is going to cost you 212 euros. So that's a huge gap, okay? That's a huge gap between the two, and this is a preferred situation we offer because you were previously a member. That's all for today. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask us to any three of the team members that we are. So I've left our contact details here, emails and phone numbers. Don't hesitate to write us on WhatsApp or call us or email us. We're very happy to answer. I hope this was clear. If you have any comment, don't hesitate to let us know and we'll be happy to help. Thank you and have a nice day.